Good day! Here are the compliance checklist our group made. Group names: name us, Baguiao Mark Johnsen, Aguilar. Buban Mark Joe Ejjen, Intes. Domalanta Cydrick, Capistrano Fabillar, Fransces Aika. Francisco Rizalyn Jade, Tamayo Chris N. Course, year, section, and set, bit 331B, major, FSM.
Okay, now let's move on. So for the first one, we have the waste management. The legal basis for this is the RA 9003, which is the, states the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000 with the local ordinance. Then the compliance requirement is implement a waste segregation and recycling program, ensure program disposal of food waste, grease, and other waste materials comply with local regulation and waste disposal, maintain clean and sanitary waste storage areas, use licensed water haulers for disposal. Then for the remarks, we have here the compliance. Okay, now let's tackle why is this included. Well, waste management is a massive cost and potential hazard in food service. We included this formalize our commitment to sustainability and mitigate risks associated with improper disposal such as pest infestation and environmental pollution. Then to relate this to our major, this speaks directly to cost control and operational management. Implementing proper waste segregation reduces the volume of waste sent to landfills, potentially lowering hauling fees. More importantly, proper grease trap maintenance and food waste disposal are essential to maintaining sanitary facility conditions, preventing plumbing issues, and adhering to local health codes. Well, for the legal compliance and the safety excellence, well, the adherence to RA 9003 is mandatory in the Philippines. Well, failure to comply can result in significant fines and business closure. Using licensed water haulers ensure we meet legal requirements for the final disposal of materials. Then for the safety excellence, proper management prevents the attraction of vermin and the spread of pathogens that thrive in unsanitary conditions, safeguarding both employees and customers. Alright, now let's move to number 2, which is the supplier accreditation. The standard basis for this will be the RA 11058, the Food Safety Act of 2013. Compliance requirement: ensure that the food suppliers are accredited and comply with food safety standards. The status for this will be compliant. Well, why it is included? Well, the greatest risk to consumer health often lies outside the immediate control of the establishment at the source. Well, this item is included to establish a proactive defense against receiving contaminated or unwholesome raw materials. Well, this is related to the food service management because this is the supply chain management and quality assurance. The quality of our menu is directly tied to the quality of our ingredients. By vetting suppliers, we ensure we're sourcing ingredients that meet our standards for freshness, integrity, and safety, which directly impacts customer satisfaction and brand reputation. Well, for our legal compliance and safety excellence, well, the Food Safety Act of 2013 places accountability on all parts of the food supply chain by accrediting suppliers We establish a verifiable paper trail that protects our operation in event of recall or foodborne illness outbreak. For the safety excellence, requiring or supplier accreditation guarantees that the raw ingredients are produced, handled, and transported under strict hazard analysis critical control point principles, which is significantly reducing the risk of biological, chemical, or physical contamination from the start. Okay, now let's move on to the third one, which is the food handling and preparation. The legal standards for this is the RA 11058. The compliance requirement is that all food must be handled with clean utensils and gloves if necessary. Then staff must avoid direct hand contact with ready-to-eat food. The status that we mark here, which is needs improvement. Well, we include this food handling and preparation because this is the last line of the defense against contamination before food reaches the customer. It addresses the most common critical control point in food preparation, which is the hand-to-food contact. This can lead to cause of cross-contamination. Well, this is related to food and service management because this relates directly to operations training and risk management. And then clear, non-negotiable standard for handling or prevent cross-contamination between raw and ready-to-eat ingredients. This standard simplifies training protocols and is a key measure used by health inspector to assess an operation's commitment to safety. Then for the legal compliance and safety excellence, well, the legal compliance will be this requirement is a core element of the Food Safety Act and is universal standard in health department codes. It ensures that our practices are aligned with basic sanitary mandates to prevent the spread of disease. Then the safety excellence will be banning direct hand contact with ready-to-eat food such as garnishes, salad, greens, or plated items is the most effective way to prevent the transfer of pathogens like norovirus from the staff members' hands to the customer plates. And this proactive approach elevates our operation to standards of safety excellence. Alright, now let's move to the number 4, which is the personal hygiene. The standard basis for this is the PD 856 DOLE General Labor Standards. The compliance requirement will be the staff must wear clean uniforms, hairnets, cap, and maintain personal cleanliness. No jewelry on hand, fingers while handling food. For the status, we mark it as compliant. Well, why it is included? Personal hygiene is a critical control point in food safety. We included this item because the staff members is the most common vector for biological contamination in food service environment. Strict adherence to these rules minimize the risk of transferring bacteria, viruses, and physical contaminants like hair or loose jewelry to the food. Okay. Then this is related to food and service management because this speaks to human resource management and operational standards. Implementing a strict uniform and hygiene policy is a key component of staff training, professional presentation, and maintaining a high level of food safety culture. Professional appearance also significantly contributes to a customer's perception of cleanliness and quality. Now, the legal compliance and safety excellence. This mandates by the PD 856, the Code of Sanitation of the Philippines, which sets non-negotiable standards for food handlers, specifically prohibiting jewelry on hands, prevents the harboring of bacteria, and stop physical contamination. Then for the safety excellence, by enforcing practices like clean uniforms and hair restraints, we ensure continuous protection against foodborne illnesses, demonstrating a proactive commitment to the highest level of public health and safety. Then for number 5, which is the electrical and fire safety, which is the standard basis will be the RA 9514, stands for the Fire Code of the Philippines, and also the RA 7920, which is the electrical engineering law, that also have the ISO 45001 2018 clause 8.2. For the compliance requirement, electrical system must be properly installed and maintained by licensed personnel. Then for extinguishers, alarms, and emergency light must be functional and inspected quarterly. Then for the emergency exit must remain unobstructed at all times. For the status, we mark it as need to improve. Well, why is this included? Well, the kitchen environment is inherently high risk with open flames, high heat, hot oil, and numerous electrical appliances. This item is the foundation of preventing catastrophic events like the fire and the electrocution, which threatens the life of the staff and customers, and also the existence of the business. Okay, now let's move on to the relation to the food and service management. This relates directly to the facility management and risk management. Well, if you're the manager, you are responsible for the physical plan, which is ensuring the compliance means scheduling the regular preventive maintenance for electrical system, like preventing shorts and fires, and conducting frequent checks of all fire suppression equipment, which is critical for business continuity. Okay, for legal compliance, this multi-phase legal obligation with under the RA 9514, which is the fire code, and the RA 7920, which is the electrical law. Non-compliance, especially concerning obstructed exits or faulty electrical wiring, can lead to immediately operational sanction and criminal negligence charges. Then for the safety excellence, we mark it as a needs to improve, which is its urgent call to action. Ensuring electrical maintenance is done by the licensed professionals, and all the emergency systems are functional and exits are clear, save lives in an emergency. It is ultimate expression of our commitment to occupational safety and health, which is the OSH, as referenced by the ISO 45001 standard.
Hi, my name is Fransces Aika Fabillar. So, let's start. Number 6, health monitoring and first aid. Una po, yung health monitoring and first aid ayon sa RA 11058 at ISO 45001 and 2018. Kailangan may regular na medical check-up ang mga food handlers at may kompletong first aid station na may trained personnel at medical supplies. Kasi sa cafe or restaurant, mahalaga ito kasi araw-araw tayo, di ba, humahawak ng mga pagkain. Kaya dapat sisiguraduhin natin na malusog ang mga staff para iwas food contamination. At ang first aid station naman ay para mabilis na makarespond kung sakaling may ma-aksidente. Tulad na lang ng if ever na magkasunog or mahiwa yung mga nag-handle ng food. Kaya nakakatulong ito para masunod ang batas at mapanatiling ligtas ang lugar ng trabaho. Number 7, workplace sanitation and hygiene. Pangalawa po ang workplace sanitation and hygiene dahil ayon din sa RA 11058, kailangan malinis at maayos ang food preparation area at may tamang waste disposal at dapat din na may pest free ang paligid. Dapat may mga hand washing facilities din na laging malinis at functional. And sa cafe ay sobrang importante nito kasi kalinisan ang isa sa pinakaunang basehan ng customer kung safe at quality ang pagkain. Kapag nasusunod ito, compliant tayo sa batas at nakakatayak din tayo na safe at hygienic ang ating lugar. Number 8, provision of PPE. Pangatlo, ang provision of PPE o personal protective equipment kasi base sa RA 11058 at DOLE Department Order 19818, kailangan bigyan ng tamang PPE ang mga empleyado at turuan kung paano ito gamitin. Sa cafe, kasama din ito ang gloves, apron, hairnet at non-slip shoes kasi protection ito laban sa mga aksidente gaya ng kapag napapaso o nahiwa o pagdulas. Nakakatulong ito para mapanatiling malinis ang pagkain at professional ang dating ng mga staff. Ibig sabihin, sumusunod tayo sa safety law at pinapahalagahan din natin ang mga kaligtasan at bawat empleyado. Number 9, ventilation and lighting. At ang panghuli natin ay ang ventilation at lighting kasi ayon sa DOLE DO 19818, dapat may sapat na ventilasyon at ilaw sa lahat ng work areas. Sa cafe, importante ito para komportable ang mga staff, hindi mainit sa kusina at maayos ang visibility habang nagluluto o naghahanda ng pagkain syempre. Ang maayos ng airflow ay nakakatulong din para maiwasan ang usok, amoy, at bakterya sa paligid. Kaya bukod sa pagkakasunod sa batas, nakakadagdag din ito sa kaligtasan at magandang working environment. So, ang kabuuan nito, ang apat na ito, ang health monitoring, sanitation, PPE at ventilation, ay lahat ay may kinalaman sa kaligtasan at kalusugan ng mga empleyado at customer. Pinapakita rin nito na hindi lang ito ang sumusunod sa legal requirements, kundi nagsisikap din tayo mataguyod ng safety excellence. Ulitin natin, Andre, yung dulo. Sa kabuuan, ang apat na ito, ang health monitoring, sanitation, PPE at ventilation, ay lahat may kinalaman sa kaligtasan at kalusugan ng mga empleyado at customers. Pinapakita rin ito na hindi lang tayo sumusunod sa legal requirements, kundi nagsisikap din tayo magtaguyod ng safety excellence ng ating cafe restaurant. Thank you!
Okay, so I am Johnsen, Baguiao, so I'm going to continue the discussion. So for the number 10, the chemical safety. So the standard basis, the RA 6969 are the Toxic Substances and Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control Act or the DOLE Department Order 198-18 OSHA. So the compliance requirement is to maintain an inventory of all chemicals used in the workspace, to ensure proper labeling and storage of chemicals. So it provides safety data sheets for all chemicals. So and also it trains the employees on safe handling and use of chemicals and to provide appropriate PPE for handling chemicals. So ang status remarks nito sa aming establishment, which is the cafe and restaurant, is needs ng improvement. Bakit? Okay, so in-include namin ito kasi kasama ito sa mga may chemicals tulad na panlinis na pwedeng makasama kung mali ang paggamit. So, konektado ito sa food service and management dahil kailangan naming siguraduhin na safe at malinis ang aming kitchen at ang aming establishment as well. So, sinisigurado nito na ang batas at tumutulong para maiwasan ang mga aksidente sa paggamit ng mga chemicals. Okay, so for the number 11, the machine guarding. So the standard basis is the OSH standard rule, the 1200. So the compliance requirement is all machinery and equipment with moving parts, such as the grinders, blenders, and slicer, are equipped with appropriate guards to prevent injury. So ang status remarks nito is compliant. So, isinama namin ang machine guarding dahil sa establishment namin na cafe and restaurant is madalas gamitin ng mga equipment na may mga matutulis o gumagalaw na mga parts tulad ng mga blenders at mga slicers. And kailangan may guard para hindi masugatan o maaksidente ang mga staff. So, connected dito sa major ko kasi bilang future food service manager, kailangan kong siguraduhin na safe gamitin ang mga equipment. Parte ito sa pagmamanage ng kitchen para maging maayos at walang maging aksidente. So, sumusunod ito sa OSHI Standard Rule or the 1200 na nag-uutos na dapat protektado ang mga makina. Bukod sa pagsunod sa mga batas, pinapakita rin nito na safe and excellence dahil pinapangalagaan ang mga workers at pinapakita ang good safety and practices. Okay, so for the number 12 risk assessment, so the standard basis is the RA 11058, the DOLE Department Order 198-18 OSHA. So compliance requirements, conduct a regular risk assessments to identify and mitigate workplace hazards. So ang status ni marks neto sa amin is compliant. So why this item was included? Kasama kasi ang risk assessments kasi ito ang paraan para makita at maiwasan ang mga delikado sa cafe and restaurant tulad ng mga madudulas na sahig, mainit na appliances at paggamit ng mga chemicals. Nakakatulong ito para maiwasan ang mga aksidente. So bilang food and service management student, kailangan kong matutunan kung paano ma-assess ang mga risk sa workplace. And makakatulong ito para mapanatiling ligtas at maayos ang operasyon. So, ang risk assessments ay sumusunod sa RA 11058 at DOLE DO 198-18. Pinapakita rito ang safety excellence kasi proactive ito at inuuna ang pag-iwas sa mga danger bago mangyari ang mga aksidente. Okay, last but not the least, number 13, the workplace conditions. So, the legal standard basis, the RA 11058 or the DOLE 198-18. So, the compliance requirement is provide comfortable and ergonomic workstations, maintain proper temperature and humidity. So, it ensure cleanliness and control noise levels. So, ang status nito is compliant. So, ba't namin ito sinama? Kasama ito para siguraduhin na maayos at komportable ang mga working area ng mga staff namin. So, ang relation nito naman sa major namin is bilang food service student, dapat alam ko at kung paano panatilihing malinis at maayos ang pasilidad. And how it ensures compliance and safety. Sumusunod ito sa batas at pinapakita ang mga pag-prioritize ng kaligtasan at kalinisan sa cafe and restaurant namin. So, that's it. Thank you so much.